We're very fortunate to have with us En Iskandar Ismail, the CEO of MyCC, or the Malaysian Competition Commission, with us today for this virtual engagement. We'll be looking and discussing key issues around protecting consumers and ensuring fair competition. En Iskandar, thank you very much for joining us virtually today. I know our original plan was to have an event in person, but again, I thank you for your time today. If you don't mind, over to you to introduce yourself and a little bit more about MyCC.
Okay, thank you so much, Nordin, for having us, MyCC. My name is Iskandar Ismail. I hope everyone is doing well today. The topic that what we're going to discuss is on the supply chain importance and how competition can overcome any predicament that the industry players are facing in the supply chain. As you know, MyCC, or Malaysia Competition Commission, is the regulator for competition matters. We have been established in April 2011, and we are here to enforce two types of acts. One is Competition Act, the other one is Competition Commission Act 2010. The main focus of our laws are to protect the process of competition for the benefit of two groups. One is the consumer, the second one are the industry players or the businesses. Yeah, it's not all about the consumer alone, because we need the businesses to be in the ecosystem, so that somehow it represents the whole spectrum of what is economy. Yeah, so it's very important that we must know how competition can create the opportunities for both groups in the ecosystem. So in order to ensure that the economy is is being carried out in an efficient manner. Yeah, so so I think that's about it. But for your information, MyCC as a regulator, we investigate cases, we produce market reviews, we issue policy advice for the government. We carried out advocacy program, I think more than 200 already since the beginning of MyCC. Okay, over to you, Mr. Nordin.
Nice, thank you, En Iskandar. I really appreciate that brief introduction. I know there's already people asking questions, which is great. And really that first, I think Jonathan asked the question, how do we define competition for a specific industry? What do you see as competition? And sometimes it's defining what it's not. What is, this, everyone talks about this word cartels and all this, but what is it really?
Okay, good question, Jonathan. Thank you so much for your question. Well, there is no specific, sorry to say, there is no specific competition definition for specific industry. But what I can say is that in understanding what truly is competition is that you have to go into three pillars of competition. Yeah, one is anti-competitive agreement. Secondly is abusive monopoly or dominant players. Thirdly, merger control. Yeah. So okay, let's say in an economy there's a lot of cartels of anti-competitive agreement. Basically the producer of eggs, chicken eggs, they come together and they fix prices. Okay, so virtually, I mean, through their conduct, they eliminate competition completely. So what I'm trying to say is that the spirit of competition is present in every industry. Yeah. You see, the very true meaning of competition is that, the businesses must compete with each other. Because if they don't compete, they will eliminate competition, and it will leave somehow the economy stagnant, as they can dictate how the prices, the quality, the choices of the customers or the consumers. So secondly, when we talk about monopoly, monopoly is a favorite subject of everybody. Once they see a very big company, they say, oh, that is a monopoly, but they don't realize that there are many players also in the same market. But of course, we take, for example, Nestle is a big is a giant itself. We take, for example, another example, Visa, Facebook, Google, Amazon. They are all giants, but at the same time, the market needs them. We can't we can't eliminate them completely just because they are big. So what we need is that they come into the market, and then they give the competition to the current players, and the new players can come in at the same time to compete with head to head with them. So there should be competition in a way that to have this check and balance in regards to the powers of the monopoly or the dominant players. So competition will ensure that the monopoly on the dominant players will not bully the rest of the players in the market. So that's how the environment should be. So to in short, there is no specific definition of competition for any industry.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. Actually, Aisha has, thank you, Aisha, for your questions, has also asked a couple of questions. What action can be taken towards companies who engage in anti-competition agreements? I mean, one of the things I see is this kind of price fixing. A group of people get together, they say, okay, let's set the price at $5. And the quality goes out at this amount. So you don't know whether or not that there's no innovation. And this is the thing that I see, that when you create this, when cartels are created, innovation is the first victim. If not, consumers are the first victim. Of course, there's many victims to anti competition, but what can MyCC do to protect industry players who want to enter the market, and also what can MyCC do to protect consumers as they look to get better product or want a better price? Especially now, everyone is worried about food-based inflation. You mentioned eggs. So what can MyCC do to kind of fix this problem?
Okay. There are two things, two matters that have been raised in your question, Nordin. One is that how to ensure new players, coming into the market, with ease. Okay. We go back to the fundamentals of competition. But our role is to protect the process of competition. Competition will be the soul of the market. It has to be there. Okay, and we are here to protect the competition itself. So how do we do it? We are a quasi-judicial body. The uniqueness of MyCC is that we investigate, we punish or decide on whether the parties have infringed the law, and at the same time, thereafter, we will enforce our own decision. Okay, that is the one uniqueness. How are we going to ensure that new players kept coming into the market? Is that we, through competition, protecting the process of competition, we will reduce barriers. Okay, that is one thing. The second one is that we will eliminate foreclosure to the market. Yeah, usually when we talk about foreclosure, okay, it is usually being carried out or put there by a monopoly or a supra dominant company in the market. They will foreclose the market in the sense that when you come into the market with a promotional price, they will virtually reduce their price below their cost so that they can kill you off in about few weeks time or few months time, and then after you exit the market, and then they will raise their price back more than 50% than usual, and then in 6 months time they will recoup everything, the losses that they, because the thing is a monopoly or supra dominant, they can withstand whatever challenges that are going to be posed against them. Yeah. So that is a one. The second one is that when we talk about cartel, anti-competitive agreement, yeah, this is the focus of MyCC. In the sense that in our enforcement strategy, we deem anti-competitive agreement or cartel as supreme evil of competition. Yeah, it is a total idea or concept or action totally against the principle of competition itself. Yeah, it's about, just imagine, okay, we have one case. It's about ice manufacturers in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya. There are about we found there are about 28 of them. So they came out in the newspaper, and then they bought a space in the advertisement, and then they said, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to raise our price by 50% by 50 cents for the cube ice, and then 2 ringgit for the block ice. Yeah, everyone basically in Selangor, every ice manufacturer in Selangor, wilayah Persekutuan, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, there are about 10 million people in these 3 areas. Basically, 1/3 of consumers of Malaysia are living in these 3 areas. So people, did ask us, why you went against all these ice manufacturers? They are not big players in the market. But I just gave them, a simple questions. I asked them, do you eat fish? Yeah, and do you drink tea ice? So both, and they answered yes. So what happened if the price of ice somehow increase the price of your fish and also your tea ice? Okay, what would you feel? So and then of course later the public got to know about why we did that action. Is that, because the thing is, basically all the ice manufacturers have somehow agreed to eliminate the competition completely. Because before they had this anti-competitive agreement, they were selling around 5 ringgit to 10 ringgit per bag of ice cube. You see, and then after that, just because of the agreement, they somehow control the price for the whole market and left no choice for the consumers. This is very dangerous for any economy in the world. So we had to take action, and then they were fined by us, and then and now I can see that through MyCC action, they are now competing, fiercely against each other. That's what we want. Yeah.
Nice. I think this is one of the great success stories that MyCC has been able to develop over the last 10 years. Of course, MyCC, I think you recently celebrated your 10-year anniversary. What are some of the other achievements you've been able to get out there? I think one of the things that I saw, I think a few years ago, was the release of these market reports. Now, one of the things that we always talk about at the Malaysia Global Business Forum is how to make data-driven decisions. And how are you understanding the problem from a data perspective? How are you getting that data? And why is it important that you do these market reports as a way of protecting consumers, but also, and I think that you've got this kind of dual reality. You've got to protect consumers, but at the same time, you've got to protect the companies that can now operate and offer goods and services to consumers. What was the thought process that went through your mind in coming up with these market reports?
Yes. Okay. It's super easy, Nordin. You see, the thing is, as a consumer, sometimes we actually we do not know what is going on behind the picture, or what is happening on how. I take you for example. When you buy a car, okay, let's say Perodua Axia, you don't know what is happening behind there. How they got all their parts, how they operate their factories, how they get all the labor and whatnot. Okay, so we don't know what is actually happening, behind the scene. Okay, so what we do in MyCC is that in accordance with the powers granted to us, okay, we are allowed to carry out market reviews. Yeah. So we look into the structure of the market. We study the market in a very detailed manner. Yeah, we will get the data from a lot of parties, a lot of stakeholders. Amongst them, the most important partners for us are the government bodies themselves, like DOSM, Department of Statistics, Bank Negara, ministries, MOF, and others. And for the industrial partners, we get all the data from the associations, the players themselves. We approach them, and then we go to the public, to the consumers themselves, or the consumer association. I mean, they have certain data that are valuable and relevant to us. So when we have all the data, we look into the competition aspect. Usually in Malaysia, before the establishment of MyCC, okay, and there are some remnants still here in the present environment. Usually, any policy that is being, or any market right now, rests solely mainly on industrial policy, but they don't take rarely that they take into competition aspect into their policy on how to shape the market. Yeah, so this is our role. Okay, what we are usually what we are going to say to through our market review is that basically you forgot the competition aspect of the market. Yeah, you came out with policies that is going to result into anti-competitive environment in the market, which is not good for the market in the long run. Yeah, as simple as that. We started with studying into the chicken broiler market. Yeah, pharmaceutical. We went into building materials. We went into food. We went into wholesale and retail. In terms of processed food, cleaning products, toiletries, clothing, things that we need every day. Yeah, like chicken broiler, the chicken that you buy at Tesco or Lotus now is now known, or NSK and whatnot, for your everyday lunch and whatnot. And then building materials to build your own house, or for the developer to build your house. And food, we went into food such as mackerel or ikan kembung, the favorite food of Malaysian. So market review is to give the understanding to the consumer what is the market structure like, and then what are the issues and challenges in the market, and what are the, and especially we zoom into competition market, and what we can do or rectify so that the market is somehow repaired, so that it can remain vibrant for the next 5 to 50 years to come. Yeah.
Nice. One of the things that you mentioned there is policy. And when we talk about COVID-19 recovery, when we talk about developing a better economy, a better government delivery apparatus, and this whole business ecosystem, how important is including this competition component in regulatory reviews? Are other ministries kind of missing the I want to say missing the boat, or missing the opportunity to develop sharper and more effective policies if they look through the lens of competition or anti-competition, and this kind of moves to this next problem also is anti-corruption. And how is this new shift in thinking, because MyCC is still only 10 years old. If you look at Australia or the UK or the US, antitrust law is incredibly important and incredibly powerful. What is this opportunity now for including this competition lens in regulatory reviews?
Yeah, it's super important, Nordin. Yeah, I think for example, in government procurement, yeah, you see, government procurement presents endless challenges. Yeah, it covers on the issues on corruption. It also deals with issue of abuse of power, fraud, cheating, and others, or including disciplinary issues, yeah, of the person who are in control of the government procurement, yeah. So the other aspect, the latest aspect that is being included in the discussion of government procurement is bid rigging. You see, when we came into the picture 10 years ago, we already went to a lot of government office, and then told them about the dangers of bid rigging, or this anti-competitive agreement, or this cartel, which basically they manipulated the system, they control the outcomes of the tenders and whatnot, and then it somehow causes leakages in government coffers. Okay, this is what we trying to put into their mind. Okay, but alhamdulillah, after many years of trying to make sense out of it, they somehow now absorb what we have been promoting. Yeah, they have realized that sometimes you see, at first they said, okay, what we have, the laws that we have, the regulation and the circulars that we have are more than sufficient to cater the challenges of what we are trying to protect here. But soon they realize that there are instances, it's not just one or two, many instances that he say, hey, Iskandar, there are no corruption here, there are no actions going against the circular, but we know there is something wrong. There is something wrong, and I think we've been manipulated. So then we told them, okay, give us 2 hours, give us all the documents, and we'll tell you what is it about. And then after 2 hours, exactly 2 hours, and then we told them, okay, this is what happening. Okay, the tender documents have been submitted. The 10 tender documents have been submitted by one person. What does it mean to you? They didn't know. Okay, and then the signatures are the same. What does it mean to you? Yeah. And then the amount of the differences of the bid is 5% differences of all the 10. What does it mean to you? Do you know? They say this is normal. They said, well, for your information, this is bid rigging.
Okay.
Because government procurement or government tenders supposed to be a competition, yeah, amongst the bidders, you know, which they were supposed to give their best bid, okay, with best quality and best prices to the government so that they can win the tender. But here they colluded with each other and then they manipulated the system, and then they said, okay, actually the 10 bidders are actually controlled by one person. This is what happening now, recently, 2-3 months ago. Remember, Nordin? It came out with these cartel members, they have these helicopters, they have all these sports car and whatnot. And then because they have been manipulating government tenders through 100 to 150 companies and whatnot. For your information, we are working with SPRM on this. Yeah. So SPRM, they have the same priority also. They want to address the issue of leakages of government. We have that priority since day one. So, it's a match made in heaven. Yeah, I can say.
Good. A match made in heaven for regulators and improving government process. But for those running cartels, I think it's a trip in the other direction. We there's a lot of questions coming in terms of some things around whistleblowers, in terms of government frameworks, in terms of getting the kind of process right. And you mentioned the word bid rigging. Could you give me, you've got, of course, cases that have taken place where you've dealt with bid rigging. What are some of the fines and what are some of the actions that you and your sister enforcement agencies can deal out so that people can know that? Because a lot of people don't know that MyCC are doing this hard work behind the scenes. It's not in a sense, it's not a sexy topic. Oh, look, we've reviewed 100 contracts and we noticed this, and now we can actually save $5 million on a purchase of something. But if you multiply that across 1,000 agencies, there's $500 million. What powers do you have, and what cases have you kind of delivered on in terms of bid rigging and in protecting the people's money that goes that is spent by the government in terms of purchasing?
For your information, we've been announcing into the media. In fact, our minister also, we are under KPDNCP. Our minister is Dr. Sri Alexander Nantalingki, brilliant minister. You see, we are now investigating tenders worth almost 6 billion ringgit. Yeah, involving more than 2,000, 3,000 companies. Yeah. So we have these enormous challenges to go through. Just imagine one particular tender. The documents are so enormous and so voluminous. If let's say you have a room of 500 square feet, all the documents somehow cannot fit into that 500 feet square room. So we have to go
just the documents.
Yeah, because we rely quite a bit on the documents to prove the pattern of bid rigging. Yeah. Yeah, the bid rigging, catalysts or the members, the one that are involved in this bid rigging, they think they are smart. Yes, they are smart. But of course,
you guys are smarter by the sound of it.
we try to catch up, lah. Yeah, we try to catch up, on how they evolve. So we have to evolve alongside, we have a lot of strategy in addressing this issue. We use technology, we use intelligence and whatnot. We protect whistleblowers. Yes, we protect whistleblowers. It's very important that whistleblowers are protected. Yeah, they can come to us and then tell us, and then they don't have to be, sometimes, they give us drip by drip, you know. I know, it somehow relates to a, suspense movie,
Yeah.
bit by bit, but no,
The
we
drama
can't
of
wait
letting it
anymore.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't wait anymore. So,
Yeah.
so what we are doing right now is that we are, I think we almost complete around 3 or 4 cases that involve more than 500 companies. Yeah, it will be out soon in through our decisions. Please wait for it. Uh, it will take a lot of processes to reach the end, but in the end, what we can do is that we find them 10% out of their revenue. Let's say they make 100 million, we can take away 10 million. Yeah, and then at the same time we can issue directive. We can and write to Ministry of Finance, and then we can say that okay, these people are involved in this bid rigging. They have been cited in our decision to be one of the cartel members, and then please blacklist them. So we can ask relevant authorities to blacklist them so that they can't enter government tenders anymore.
Okay.
I think that is one of the most effective way to
Mhm.
address this.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I didn't realize the amount of data and physical documentation. It's like you have to have a forklift as one of your assets in the office just to move around the documentation. What I want to do now is kind of shift gears. There was a question earlier on around mergers and acquisitions.
Yes.
This is also a very interesting thing in terms of a lot of people talk about vertically integrating supply chains or horizontally integrating supply chains, and how this impacts different businesses. But how can a merger, and why should mergers and acquisitions be dealt with by MyCC, and why should we as consumers and why should we as other businesses be concerned about this? And the other, I know I've got a bunch of questions here actually. And where is Malaysia in terms of other countries around ASEAN in terms of our regulatory environment for mergers and acquisitions?
Okay. Yeah, I think I touched barely on this earlier. This is the third pillar of competition, merger control. Yeah. In layman's term, what I can say is that I can sum up is that why we need merger control, because we want to avoid concentration or increase of concentration in the market by certain players. That is one. Or we want to close the back door for some players to form a cartel. You see, they know they can't, let's say, take for example, food companies. Okay, they know, in the terms, in the current crisis due to the pandemic, food are the main sought after products now. Okay, because whether you like it or not, people still need food. Yeah, so let's say if they want to fix prices amongst them on certain food, they know they can't. MyCC is watching, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah. So what they do is that some of them, they will buy over, or take over their rivals or their competitors in the market. Yeah. So what they do, they say, okay, I'll form a JV, I'll form a partnership, or I'll buy some of your shares and whatnot, and then through that cooperation, through that merger, we can decide the prices together. Okay, so it's very important, okay, for MyCC to have that power. Okay, in ASEAN, we are the only country that, you know, still going in the process of getting that power. You see, like Singapore, for example, when, you know, Singapore Competition Commission, when they were formed in 2005, they didn't have also merger control at that point of their establishment. Maybe about 5 to 10 years later, then only they have this merger control powers given to them. So it's the same with Malaysia also. I think we are ready. We are amending our law to include that power. We have begun the processes in 2019, Nordin. Just somehow, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it slowed down our processes. But we have the draft. The policy has been approved by our ministry, KPD NICP. And then after this, we will do the necessary to speed up things and then to control. I mean, a lot of mergers are happening nowadays. Yeah, the most talk, you know, mergers nowadays is about the mergers of Axiata and DG Telenor. Yeah, so people are asking, oh, what is going to happen to my you know, to my Celcom line and DG line? Are we going to have this Celcom DG combination line or whatever, or is it going to increase the price and whatnot? And people knows the effect of a merger. That's a good thing, yeah. But there's the other side of a merger, yeah. A merger can, you know, let's say MyCC has the power to control merger. Okay, let's say an applicant, they come to us, okay, they will have 3 results. They will get one of the 3 results that we're going to give to them. One is that we're going to approve the merger without condition. So it means that they basically what they're doing is good for the market. Okay, so, because sometimes merger is needed to save failing companies in the market. Yeah. Okay. Secondly, the second result that most likely to be is we're going to approve the merger with conditions. Maybe what we can say is that, okay, we approve the merger, okay, but please don't please don't go to the downstream market. You can only be up to the midstream market or the wholesale market. For the retail, you have to let go. Okay. And the third one is, the third result will be that we're going to reject the merger application. So when we reject, it means that we know that this merger will create chaos or issues or challenges to the market. Yeah, and it's not good for the market basically.
One of I think Kif had just asked us around what's going on in the UK in terms of big tech and watchdogs. Now, what's the difference between MyCC as a quasi judiciary body and a watchdog? You know, what's the difference, and does Malaysia need to have a more vibrant watchdog environment? You know, is that something that would help your job, or are we there yet? What's your opinion around the differences between watchdogs and regulators?
Okay. Actually, for your information, we are not the regulator that issue licenses or impose fees and whatnot. We are not like sector regulators like MCMC or MEFCOM or Securities Commission or Bank Negara. Yeah, we are basically an enforcement body in the form of a quasi-judicial body. Yeah, basically you are 2 in 1 lah. Yeah, so if you talk about mobile phone system, what I meant is telecommunication system or telecommunication sector, that is under MCMC. Yeah, But if you talk about the dominance of Apple or Google in the system or in the apps, and Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, and whatnot, all these tech giants, yeah, they fall under our jurisdiction, because whatever they do, they have effect on our market. Okay, this is a very tricky situation, Nordin. You see, Malaysia is not the birthplace of all these giants, and we don't have the technology, we don't have the expertise. Okay, so they grew, and they didn't stop growing, and somehow, uh, the consumer, whether they like it or not, they need these people. Okay, we just, as I said earlier just now, even though they are a monopoly, even though they are supra dominant in the market, you just can't, just because they are big, you can't just push them away. You need them. So just imagine, Nordin, we have credit card, debit card, right? Okay, do you know that Visa controls more than 70% of the market for the whole world, for all these payment system? You see, what if they switch off their links to Malaysia? What will happen to your debit card, Nordin?
It
Yeah.
won't be a pretty sight. I won't be able to order
Yeah.
my I won't be able to order my food later.
Yeah. So that's it. So you, as much as you hate them, you need them. It's a love-hate
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
Yeah. So you need them. So when they enter into our market, of course, many of us welcome them with open arms, and we use them, happily, so happy. And then suddenly we started to realize that, they can increase their prices as and when they like, and then they change their terms and conditions as and when they like. And then when a small player comes in, somehow the small players can't match their services and whatnot. You see? So for the case of Malaysia, okay, we have to be patient a bit. Okay, let the market grow. Yeah, a few years back when I gave a talk to Taylor's University, I still remember they asked me, why can't you take action against Grab now? You see, they are imposing all this. I say, no, they just enter the market, and then you want to intervene for what? I said,
Yeah.
if you do that, nobody will be interested to invest in Malaysia,
Mhm.
because the government will intervene as and when they like, due to some grouses only. No, so that is not the right way on how to ensure, or to ensure the market is competitive. Yeah, so let them come in, and then hopefully, okay, with the government push, okay, we have a lot of grants right now, since MOF have came out with a lot of grants to digitalize all our micro, small and medium enterprises. I hope these people take up the chance. I know there are some challenges. They say they don't have the right people to do it. They don't have the capital. Okay, no, the government is providing some capital. Go for it. Do something. People don't right now. Bricks and mortars type of business is not the first choice anymore. You have to go online. You want to survive, you must have online business. Yeah, along with your brick and mortars. Let's say you say, oh, there's a sentimental value. This is part of the historic thing of Malaysia and whatnot. You must have something. So what if nobody is allowed to walk on the street because of this pandemic? So your online service or online business will keep you alive. You see? So that's the thing. So going back to these tech giants, okay, as and when they create an issue in the market, then only we'll enter. Same with Grab. 5 years ago, I was asked about Grab, and then 2 years ago, we took action against Grab. Yeah. So when there's an issue, then we will cross the bridge. we don't want just to say that, oh, when they come in, okay, we put all these conditions. Nobody will enter Malaysia now then. Is it? So, and just imagine, we have the highest user of Facebook in the world. What if Facebook, exit from the market like Uber did? So just imagine the chaos that will
be created. Exactly. No, it's something. I mean, you're walking a very tight line, very fine line in terms of ensuring competition without killing off competitive forces, and businesses need to flourish. I noticed a bunch of questions continue around corruption, your work with your sister agencies around corruption, and your work in terms of ensuring government purchasing during the pandemic. Have you guys taken off this last 2 years, or have you guys been working? Tell us what you've been doing during the pandemic to ensure that that government procurement still follows this kind of new.
Yes. Sometimes things are being kept confidential. What is happening behind the curtains, and then we've been talking to Ministry of Finance. We've been talking to SPRM. In November 2020, you can see that I went to SPRM office, and then I posted in, so that was the height of the cooperation between MyCC and SPRM. Yeah. You see, of course there are challenges. You see, the difference between SPRM and MyCC is that, okay, SPRM can only investigate. They cannot prosecute. They cannot decide whether the person is totally guilty or not. Okay, that is their challenge. Okay, so it's up to the Attorney General Chambers to decide whether this case is worth to be brought in to the court system. Okay, but for us, we are 3 in 1, all under one roof. No, then that's the thing. That's the challenge. You see, we have to do things from A to Z. Yeah, we investigate. We investigate is not just like get all the documents and scan the documents and read the documents and then go through all the documents whether this document is relevant or not. No, we have to get statements. We have to carry out intelligence and surveillance, and then we have to carry out down rate and whatnot. And then once we have, and then we have to analyze all the evidence that that are present before us, and then we come up with investigation report. And then once we got the investigation report, we present it to the commission, and the commission will decide whether we can go for the next step. And I mean, there are numerous challenges along the way, but we are not complaining. Yeah, this is how it should be. I mean, the law has given us the power, and then we just have to follow. Yeah, of course. You see, as I said just now, in any government procurement activities, there's a lot of issues here. The two main issues usually that will crop up, one is corruption. The second one is the bid rigging part. Yeah, these two areas. Yes, there are fraud, there are cheating, but that one is not so apparent. In the sense that it is more about corruption. It's about certain figures in the circle of the government procurement. They give out sensitive information to the bidders to be, and then so that they can manipulate the pricing and whatnot. So I think as I said just now, what we're trying to do is that with SPRM is to cover all bases. Okay, you handle the receiver and giver of the vertical relationship of inside the government procurement. We take care of the horizontal relationship that is causing chaos and problems in the government procurement, which is between the the bidders. Sometimes the bidders, for your information, Nordin, one bidder who wants to win the tender, they can bribe the other bidders. Let's say there are 50 bidders. What they do is that usually they give two things, one of two things. One is that, okay, I'll give you 5,000 ringgit or 50,000 ringgit. Okay, just give me all your documents, I'll do it for you. Okay, so basically they fill up the form, they put the prices, and then they use one particular courier company to send in one envelope.
The whole lot. The whole lot.
Yeah.
Here's your smoking gun. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's one particular case in Canada. That's what happened, So anyhow, and then the other one is that, okay, what they say is, okay, I'll promise you, if I win and you cooperate with me, okay, after I win, I will subcontract the work to you. So it means that they just take what we say atas angin lah. Okay, let's say it's 50 million, they take away 20 million, the 30 million they give to the other bidders who lost lah, who lost, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So actually, this process it obviously takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of investigation powers, and it takes a lot of working with other stakeholders. Of course, the public want to know answers very quickly. What is the risk of going too quickly? Is there a potential that what happens if you get the investigation wrong? And is there a process where you guys think, okay, look, this is going to take a year to investigate, or this takes a longer period of time, or what is that? Because for me, my concern now, okay, imagine there's a company out there, okay, you're investigating. They need to know that they're receiving a just cause, they're receiving justice as well. You can't just be like, okay, now I'm under investigation. Okay, life is over, business is done, we have to bungkus. How do you ensure that justice, not just in terms of making sure you convict people, but justice in terms of getting it right? How does that happen? Because the case starts, you mentioned those university students earlier on, they jumped on the case of Grab, solve this problem now. How long does it take, and why does it take this amount of time?
Okay, yes, good question. Thank you so much for giving me that question, Nordin. People always wonder, why MyCC is taking a bit more time, longer than the usual investigation procedure. Okay, it's not a direct, straightforward matter that we are investigating. Okay, take for example, if you compare to criminal cases, let's say for murder cases, let's say, murder. Okay, you need to find the murderer, you need to find the victim, you need to find the motive, and you need to know what kind of what kind of weapon the murderer was using. So basically, you will solve the case there and then. That's it. But for us, it's different. Yeah. Just imagine to prove a web of 100 companies that have been manipulating the government procurement for many, many years. Yeah. They have their own lingo to communicate with each other. They have their own way on how to give signals toward each other. Okay. So, when you talk about cartel, the literal meaning of a cartel is a confidential arrangement. So when you talk about confidential arrangement, I know how are you going to unravel the things, that they've been doing together within the confine of their space. Yeah. So it's not easy. Yeah. So But thank God, we are trained, quite fully trained by we got help from other competition agencies, we got help from the local agencies, and we send our people to train all over the world on learn from the best. Yeah, so now basically we know how to investigate thoroughly on how to prove. Okay, the principles of that are involved in proving that the bid rigging took place is based on principle of natural justice. Yeah. Okay. Basically, okay, this is a combination of three laws. Yeah. If you are talking about competition law, okay, competition law, okay, is based on the principle of economics, okay, or economics law, which is going to be proved through a procedure governed by administrative law. So, so it's a three. The law itself, the competition law, the soul of the competition law is the principle of economics, and how to prove to come to a conclusion if the parties infringe the law is through the principle of natural justice via administrative law. Okay, so we have certain procedures that we have to comply with. Once we complete our investigation, we have to come out with a proposed decision. Yeah, proposed decision detailing all the issues that we have investigated, why we feel that the parties have infringed the law and whatnot. We have to give the evidence, we have to share, we have to open our investigation papers to them to look, to ensure that we did not, leave out any important or exculpatory evidence, for the other side. Yeah, and then once we issue the proposed decision to them, they will be given time to answer to give their comments or their defense towards against our proposed decision, and then we will hear them to present their defense. Then after hearing the defense, then we will weigh. Okay, if we feel that their defense is not good enough, then we will issue the same decision. If yes, maybe there's two things. We will amend our decision. Okay, maybe we found some of the aspect that they presented to us is true. Okay, so we may lessen the penalty, or we take out any directive and whatnot. Or the next one is that they are totally free. I mean, we will find them not to be infringing the law, and it happened. Anodin, if we look in our in our website, you find a scores of non-infringement decision issued by MyCC. Not everyone that are being investigated by MyCC are being found infringing the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. That's good to know. This idea, I think you use the term natural justice, and I think this is an interesting concept. I think a lot of questions around government procurement today, I think you've covered a lot of it, but I think in that context, when we look at government procurement, is there a statute of limitations? Like, can we see something purchased now, and then a year from now you may have the evidence, or someone may present you evidence? Is there a statute of limitations? And then do you go back, or how does that part work? Quickly, because I've got another question that I want to ask you after this as well.
Yeah. Okay. There is no statute of limitation. Sorry, guys out there. Yeah. but we can only take action against what took place after 2012, 1st January 2012. Why? Because we enforce our law only after starting on 1st January 2012. But if there's a cartel that is still going on since let's say 2010, or 1999 and is still going on up until today, okay, we will take everything into account starting
Okay.
from 1999 up until today. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's a single, we deem that as a single continuous agreement.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I think that it kind of sums up some of those questions. I think we've got about 100 questions today. In terms of yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you, everybody. I usually mention people's names, but there's so many questions. I thank everyone for their questions. I've got one last question in closing for you, and I've saved it to the end. I was looking through your history and your resume. Very wonderful career that you have, but one thing that stands out to me is what you've done in terms of investigating the genocide in Rwanda. And you talk, and we've seen, this is like a rare thing that there's a Malaysian involved in such a huge global case. And I want you to kind of tell us how that happened, what you learned there, and obviously if you can investigate genocide, I think investigating cartels is definitely within your scope of ability. So tell us a bit about the history of how that happened and what did you learn? I mean, that of course I'm sure a very emotional experience, but an incredible experience that you're involved in such a high-profile international United Nations international investigation like that. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Well, I mean, I spent 8 years in Tanzania from 2005 to 2012, prosecuting and investigating genocide cases. I must tell you, it changed the way I look at things, a lot of things. Yeah. Somehow it taught us we must do something, our part to preserve and save humanity. That is very important for everybody. Whether it's a small part or it's a big part, it's up to you. Yeah. I'm sure that everybody has some purpose in their life. As for me, I've decided to go there because just imagine, Nordin, genocide, if you look at the history, and it's been going for many centuries. It happened in many places. The latest being in Rwanda. Just imagine 3 months, in 3 months' time, almost 1 million people were killed. I know it's Rwanda, nobody even, some of us have not even heard Rwanda, you see. But we are talking about genocide here. People are being killed because of our belief to certain principle, be it religiously or ethnically or whatever it is. Yeah, this is totally wrong. So I had to do something. I want to be part, so that at least I can go away from this, from this world, knowing that I did something. It is very small. I just prosecuted and investigated, for genocide cases. That's all. That's not much. The latest being was the case against the former Minister of Planning of Rwanda at that point of time. Yeah, he got convicted. Alhamdulillah, he got sorry to say, Alhamdulillah, he got convicted for genocide, for rape. Rape is considered as part of crimes under genocide. So so he was in prison. Yeah, I don't know where he is right now. Yeah. So anyhow, why I did it, because we just maybe spur of the moment at that point of time. I suddenly realized I needed to do something. Yeah. So that's it. I know I can go on for it's about 8 years of my life, yeah, in Tanzania, prosecuting this, investigating these people. There's a lot of things happen along the way. Of course, there's a lot of challenges. A Malaysian in the African continent.
Oh wow, it's yeah, definitely, and I can see there's other people also who were doing some stuff as well around this. So it's nice to know. It's for me, the fact that you are able to go and do that, the fact that you're able to contribute, yeah, like what you said, not many people, if you ask them where on the map is Rwanda, and probably the first question is like, where, what is Rwanda? Is it a country? Is it a state? So the fact that you took the time, 8 years, and that kind of commitment, I think is very important part of that understanding of your ability to investigate and to do justice where justice is needed. And I think that's just something that I think it's good. I hope we can do another session just on understanding that process, because I think it's something that we need to know more about. And as a Malaysian, to be involved with some of those high-profile international cases, I'm sure, this needs to be known more. So with En Iskandar, I really appreciate your time today. I know when we talked earlier, I said, oh, maybe it's going to be half an hour or so. And we've gone more than double that. And I think the fact that there's so many questions, there's so much interest in competition law, so much interest in dealing with cartels and in anti-bid rigging and this whole thing around mergers and acquisitions, I think just shows the importance of MyCC and your team, what you're doing to protect the business ecosystem as well as consumers. So with that, I want to thank you for your time today. And just give you the chance to any last words, anything that we've missed that you need to mention.
Yeah. You see, I'm very happy with the response through the questions. I can see a lot of questions. Sharilyn Pang, I'm sorry, I can't answer all your questions. Yeah. Zulaika. And others. Thank you so much for the questions. You see, we are happy, our efforts has been bearing fruits, Nordin. We've been carrying out more than 200 advocacy programs all over Malaysia, Nordin. We wanted to instill the awareness of competition law in Malaysians. And somehow we managed. Of course, some of them, have taken it literally. As long as sometimes they just, bulldoze whatever they believe. But that is okay. You see, competition laws is there to correct the market, to correct the behaviors of certain players in the market, so that it will benefit the consumers, the other enterprises, and the economy as a whole. You see, so people have realized that now when there's a merger, recently, before Axiata and Telenor, we heard about Tesco and CP Group. We have heard about Batu Kawan and the nation chemical company, and then we heard about YTL taking over Lafarge Holcim cement company. People somehow realize, hey, these big companies, they are merging. What is going to happen to us? We have realized that the price have increased, and then what is going to happen. So competition law provides the avenue to find a better, comprehensive, and a longer term environment. It means that we look for long-term solutions. Yeah, you are not looking, when there's a hike in the price of, let's say, cooking oil, you say, okay, of course, the good thing is that, of course, since the government has the power, they can put a ceiling price. So be it. Go ahead. They have the power. Okay, because they are being given. They are providing Malaysian RM2.50 per packet. Yeah. So Malaysian have the option to go and buy that. Okay. So if they say they want to expand their ceiling price toward other products, other cooking oil products, go, so be it. Okay. But at the same time, we are working alongside them, with them, and we going to give our perspective so that in the long run, this issue can be controlled. Yeah. So that is where we are. You see, we cannot provide you with a short-term solution, no. Okay, but we can provide you a mid to long-term solution. We look further than that because it's not easy to correct the behavior of the market. You know, the markets before 2012, they've been price fixing forever. No, forever and ever. Remember those days? Remember in early 2000 up to 2012, the association will announce in the newspaper, for the sake of the consumer. You know, they use all these, bombastic words, for all the consumers, for all consumers, because of the increase of the electricity and the labor charges and whatnot. We know that you are suffering, but we are suffering also, and then so that we raise our prices by 10%, all of us. But when we came in, we stopped all that. Did you notice that? There's no announcement anymore.
Yes, actually, this I remember. Of course, I've been in Malaysia for almost 30 years, so I remember those helpful, allow us to help you by charging you more announcements. So this is gone. Well done.
Yeah. So that's what. No, the other challenge is that behind that scene, behind that success is that they are doing it, in a close environment. So we had to, do extra works, but it's okay. Yeah. But thank you so much again, Nordin, for giving us the opportunity to have this engagement. This is, excellent. I mean, I hope we can have one more session. Maybe I can focus in one particular subject that is crucial to in the sense of the business. Because the thing is, from what I received, the response, some of the enterprises, they say, usually the regulators will try to find fault with the enterprises. It is not, we are not that. If you look at our records, I think we have been quite fair to everybody. Yeah. So because you are as important as the consumers. In the end, everyone is a consumer now. 32 million of us. Although we do, multi-billionaire businesses, whatever it is, in the end, we are consumers ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I also want to take this opportunity to thank you, En Iskandar, for your time today, and thank the team at MyCC who are doing all this hard work to protect us, and also to ensure that the business ecosystem is vibrant, is competitive, and competition leads to good things, I think, and that's one of the things I wanted to leave today's session with. And thank you again, and we look forward, and thank you everyone for joining us. And for all the questions, and just a reminder, there's a survey and just scroll all the way to the bottom of all these comments, and you'll see at the bottom there's a survey. We'd love it if you guys could fill it out, give us some more feedback, allow us and allow this engagement to lead to greater and better things. So with that, we will see you again. Thank you again, Iskandar. And we will see you again on the next edition of the Malaysia Global Business Forum virtual engagement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Take care.